From SCNR.com, Trump says Florida's 6-week abortion ban too short. And amid conservative infighting, the GOP candidate's comments follow a prominent anti-abortion advocate withdrawing support. Now, this story went massively viral. Donald Trump said that he's going to be voting no on the proposition in Florida. And so you've got a bunch of conservatives cheering him on now, saying he is the pro-life candidate. And the reason they're doing it is because pro-life activists are threatening to withhold their vote from Donald Trump. During an interview on Thursday with NBC Politics, the former president was asked if he plans to support a new amendment on the Sunshine State's ballot this November that prohibits abortion restrictions. The 6-week ban went into effect on May 1st. I think 6 week is too short. It has to be more time. And I've told them that I want more weeks. When asked if he would support the amendment in his home state, he says, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. That sounds like he
changed.
Yeah.
Trump War Room just posted it, and Charlie Kirk reposted today. He said he's right
voting no on.
So it was kind of Thursday to Friday was a little bit of a shift, right?
That was the big news that everybody was going viral.
Yeah,
or that was going viral with everybody. Where let me pull it up.
And I don't know how you can vote for more weeks if the guideline is 6 weeks.
That's not an option.
I'm going to vote for 1A.
I think the amendment is you cannot make any law prior to viability or affecting if the mother's health is in danger.
So this was the clip. This is from War Room today. A major win. Trump saying 9 months is just a ridiculous situation. Eat crow haters. Trump did the right thing.
Yeah.
So this was the big story. Trump ultimately coming out. But again, I find it. I mean, we're in trouble when we have pro-life activists looking at Trump and saying they're going to withhold their vote, and Democrats literally taking it like, okay, I earmuffs for your kids. If your kids are listening or in the room, you can earmuffs them now. Democrats are literally having gay sex in the Senate building, and they don't care. They don't care. They'll vote for these people. To be fair, the guy got fired, but you've got this debauchery, and Trump is trying to have and the right is infighting.
I can't stand this. This is crazy. And I'm as pro-life as they come. I know I said I donated to Planned Parenthood. I don't even believe in exceptions for assault, but that's not in this election cycle. It's so crazy to be fighting about this right now because every election is a choice. I'm for Donald Trump, but every election between two men or people is a choice between the lesser of two evils. It's always been that way. And if somehow DeSantis were our nominee because something to happen to Haley and Trump, and he ran on, I'm going to ban abortion, he would lose. And it's not Trump's fault that abortion bans are not popular with the American people. That's my fault as a pro-life activist. That's anyone's fault who's against abortion and knows the truth about abortion. And it's kind of like we're looking for someone to blame because he hasn't shifted. He's always been for the first trimester, pretty much. I think
old
that's
school Democrat position.
Exactly. A lot of people are for that. Most Americans are. And I don't agree with it, but it's not his fault that it's unpopular.
But the issue here with Trump, and this is what I was bringing up before about the argument, is he should say nothing on any of it. He should just not bring it up. There's nothing to be gained from entering an abortion debate. Democrats don't care. Trump's going to say something like, I want government to pay for IVF. And then the Democrats are going to say, yeah, he said that, but in Project 2025, they're going to ban abortion.
Yeah.
And then they go, whoa, and that's Trump's plan. He's lying to you. And so Trump is arguing with a cult. And no matter what he's going to say, they're going to say he's lying. He's not convincing them. I get why he's a moderate on the issue. Saying it should stay with the states is fine, but the more he says it, the more he brings it up, the more he opens up vulnerabilities. Out of sight, out of mind, as it goes. If Donald Trump did not comment on this at all, and instead said something about the border that was controversial, he would put something on Kamala Harris instead of on himself.
Yeah.
Democrats want abortion. They want it unrestricted across the board forever. Trump is now entering an argument amongst conservatives. Trump, instead of talking about abortion, as soon as someone asked him about abortion, he could have been like, man, it's tough to think about because of what's going on in the border. I got to be honest. Mm-hmm. What we need to do is insert migrant issue, generate controversy about a migrant issue that forces Kamala Harris to respond or react to that will say Trump is lying or something else. But that's something that is more easily brought up in the minds of people because what Kamala Harris is doing is unpopular with the border. But Democrats want abortion and women want abortion. So Trump is in a difficult position trying to argue this with anybody.
Well, the Harris campaign brings this up because they think, it rallies support among their base, and also it makes Republicans infight. Trump should, when asked about this, say, abortion is such a complicated conversation. We all want to preserve life. And, actually, I think that's a good reason why we should talk about what's going on in Israel-Palestine, because so many people are losing their lives there. And, I would really like to see stronger leadership from the Biden-Harris administration. Like, he should push her on this issue because that's what Democrats infight about. Harris, she flip-flops on it so intensely, but there is a huge faction of progressive young voters, which, by the way, her major gains after the convention were among young voters. And that doesn't mean that they're huge gains. That's just who she gained with. But those are the same people who are saying, we're going to sit out. We would rather not vote at all than vote for someone who doesn't support Palestine.
Imagine when they come up to Trump and they were like, I wanted to ask you about your position on abortion. That's generating a lot of controversy. And he just looked at him and went, Israel, Palestine. It's tough, isn't it? I wonder what Democrats are going to do about that one.
If Democrats really cared about women, they would really care about what's going on in these overseas conflicts.
Yeah, that's like their abortion kind of, it breaks them up. But I just, there are if X is any indication, there's a lot of DeSantis people who were already not going to vote for him because of this, and they can't get over the fact that it wasn't DeSantis. It's just crazy to me because your options are codifying Roe and then saving some babies. It's like saving no babies versus saving some. And I wish every conservative could just stop listening to what he says. When he tweeted out about, I'm going to protect reproductive rights, I wish he wouldn't have done that. But just ignore it and understand that he's the most pro-life candidate that we've got right now.
Right. He's literally the president who got Roe v. Wade overturned, and pro-lifers are mad, and that's crazy. That's 50 years of precedents that he reversed.
He is the only sitting president to attend the March for Life. I mean, he is the most pro-life president of our history, and I also think it's important to note that just because we compromise once, that doesn't mean it's set in stone. Like, you shift the needle incrementally to the right, hopefully, because that's the same way they shifted it to the left incrementally. It wasn't overnight. When I was growing up, it was safe, legal, and rare, and now they won't even say rare anymore. And it seems like a lot of conservatives just want to shift it overnight all of a sudden. So just because we compromise now doesn't mean God's going to smite us.
Maybe Trump could pull a big ask on abortion. And then once Kamala says she wants unrestricted abortions, Trump could say he wants mandatory abortions. Just go well beyond the Democrat position and then force them to try and one-up him.
No, he'd upset the pro-life crowd then.
And they're already mad the way it is, so. And they got what they want with Roe versus Wade, and they just want more and more and more. I don't understand their policy, their thinking.
Because they want there to be panic. That's the big thing. They want women to be so scared that anyone who is Republican, whether it's Trump or anyone who runs for president after him, anyone who runs on the state level and is endorsed by Trump or is vaguely reminds them at all of any sort of Republican man, they are actually a threat to your personal safety. Because you vote differently when you think you're under direct attack. And they have only been able to sell this, especially to women, with the abortion issue, which is also stupid, but that's a complaint against women, not against Democrats.
Trump's trying to play the moderate, and it might be a good play, but he has to stabilize. He had, yesterday saying 6 weeks is too short, now saying, no, I'm going to vote no on it. It's relatively vague, but he needs to just be a stable, moderate candidate where I don't think abortion matters to most moderates. I don't think abortion is a top issue.
I give zero shits.
We would already know it's a top issue. It never was. It's crime, it's the economy, it's the border. Those are his best issues. They're dragging something up that's at the bottom of the list because this is the only thing Kamala Harris knows how to talk about.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have commented on how he's going to vote in Florida. That's really no one's business.
But the IVF thing, too, is kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, he wants the government to pay for IVF. Why announce that? That's a radical policy.
I think that's a good thing because I
agree with it.
And Vance has kind of a stigma, which I don't think is deserved, that he's against IVF. And I think both of those are good things to come out and say. And I actually am pro IVF, unlike a lot of pro-life people. So I don't know. I think it's something you can show to someone and be like, actually, he wants insurance to pay for IVF.
But I just don't see that as a big issue that wins over voters to say that, who's he targeting?
I don't think about it at all.
The abortion issue, right? Like IVF only became an issue because they still wanted to talk about abortion.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're not talking about birth control access, right? No one is arguing. If Democrats really cared about women or any of this, instead of pushing for IVF, they would talk about all of the lack of information women have when it comes to birth control, right? And they would talk about that nonstop, but it's not about that. It's about fear.
Why doesn't Trump just come out and say, we're going to make the government pay for your house. Everyone gets a free house. We're going to build more. Why? If you're gonna have the government pay for anything, and we're talking about IVF treatments that people say it's 40 to 100 grand.
Yeah.
Sure, Trump says we're going to buy you a house. If Kamala Harris wants to play the game, we're going to pay for student loans, despite the Supreme Court saying no. Trump should either play that game or not play this game at all.
I was listening to this report today talking about Trump saying that he would be for the government paying for IVF. And this reporter was like, that would cost something like $7 billion. And meanwhile, the Biden student loan plan that just got blocked by a judge would cost $230 billion. Like, I don't know if the government should be involved in subsidizing everything. I'm actually not against IVF. I just think we need to think about it ethically and be critical of it. But you're saying that he is going to spend $7 billion to create potentially families in America. Meanwhile, you're just authorizing Joe Biden to give away 230. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's no logic.
It was really funny when he was at this rally earlier and he was like, we need more babies, more babies. I was like, that was really funny.
If nothing else, he's taking back IVF from the Democrats because they act like they own IVF and they don't. It's not abortion at all. There's a fundamental difference between trying to create a life and intentionally destroying one. And so at least he's taking back and acting like, no, actually Republicans, we can own IVF too. And it's not just Democrats. I think it's a good thing. And we do need more families. And I think infertility impacts a lot of people.
And I just think we should talk about it all the time. I don't necessarily think, I actually feel like IVF is such an important issue in infertility in America that it shouldn't become a political thing. I get why, they're latching onto it, but it's a big deal, the fact that our birth rates are declining. Yeah. It's a big deal that people are struggling with infertility. And, I'm not anti the science that goes behind all of these things. I just think we have to talk about it more. And I think there's a level of shame that goes with infertility where we don't. Mm-hmm. But that, again, is like this emotional tactic that Democrats have sort of employed to be like, they're trying to take something from you and we're the only ones who are going to protect you. And I don't understand how that can be appealing to voters, but I was never a Democrat.
Just last night, real quick, we had two great super chats that called in and IVF really helped them. They're on our team and they really appreciated IVF and how they helped them.
I think I heard that actually listening to and it's very sweet. I mean, IVF changes lives and, I know that embryos are destroyed, but at the end of the day, I think morally there's a fundamental difference between intentionally destroying a life because you carelessly had relations, because we all know what that leads to, versus trying to and desperately hoping that each embryo implants. I don't think they should be destroyed. I think we should do embryo adoption. But fundamentally, there's a difference there. And I don't think we need to be so puritanical as conservatives, but that's just my opinion.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.